it's the end of Sunday. I did more of my personal statement. It's gonna take a lot of revisions, but goal is to have it done by tomorrow, and I should be able to get it done. I'm not gonna do as much working out tomorrow. I walked all the way to the sculpture garden again, and actually, so I decided to get my fitness tracker mostly to kind of count the calories, because I was thinking I may be very under, because a lot of the healthier foods I've been eating are rich in nutrients but also low density for calories. So I decided, why not just like track it. Maybe it's a little obsessive, but it did prove that I've been incredibly low on calories, which is not good. So that's gonna be having to train myself a little bit more. I need to go grocery shopping tomorrow, which will be probably my walk. Is like, I want to go to Fresh Time for certain things, but then I also need to go to Target for other things. So we'll do all that and have fun. Yeah, today my boyfriend was initially planning on coming over. He was also supposed to come over yesterday, but yesterday he had to go to Rochester, and that got extended because one of his friends kind of got in like somewhat of a car accident. So hopefully he's over tomorrow, but you know what? If he's here, he's here. If he's not, he's not. That's just kind of how life is. But I'm not going to wait around for him on that sort of front. Besides that, Sophia and I watched The King, and it was so good. And it was just like, like all these famous actors, and yeah, I liked it a lot. I was curious about I know typically with historical hairstyles, the hair was always up, so that was the one question I had, was like some of the women's hair was down but like still had the head covering and everything, so I was wondering if there's like something from that era. But besides that, nothing happened. So it is the end of Monday. It was Memorial Day. I did think about that and how lucky I am that all of my family members that were in the military, or that are like my more immediate family that were military, all came home safe. And I know that's not always the case, and I was thinking about those who didn't, and it's a lot. Besides that, I did a walk to get more fruit, and that was it. And my boyfriend came over and we cuddled a bit. But I'm just kind of in a weird spot, like I was earlier on in quarantine, I guess, because I don't have energy for anything. I found purpose for a while, and then I've lost this purpose again. And I know there's things I need to get done, but I don't want to do it. And yeah, it's a lot of ups and downs. The cycle has repeated itself again. Hopefully I can get myself out of it, but I don't know. So it's the end of Tuesday. It's just past midnight, actually. So I set up a meeting with the professor that I had asked to write the third letter of recommendation. I think before that, tomorrow I'm going to email one of my old bosses and ask if he could possibly write one also, just so I have something also, another backup. Besides that, not much happened. I walked over to Target to pick up the dairy products that are more perishable. I'm just here. I called my mom today because I'm just tired and deflated, and that cycle has come over again, and I think I may need more vitamin D again. It's been pretty cloudy. I mean, on Sunday when I'd gone on a walk, it was really nice out and sunny, but past 2 days have been really gloomy, and I'm just like not getting the same amount of vitamin D as I used to because I'm like not outside at all. I may also tomorrow finally buy myself like the shorts that I probably need, because I need denim shorts because I don't have any really shorts for the summer. Yeah, I didn't really walk much today or do anything. It's weird because like when I'm bored, I want to like eat a bunch of candy, but also I have to like tell myself, hey, there's a lot that you can eat. You need a lot. Like, that's been my problem, is there's a lot I need to eat a lot more than I usually do. And besides that, like, Nothing's really been going on. I finally made Maggie's Lay. But yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, I was also watching a lot of Eons because, I don't know, it was hitting a spot. So it is the end of Wednesday. I finally finished the statement. I need to edit it, which will be something I do tomorrow. Like have my morning coffee and edit, do that. It'll be nice and calming. I walked over to the Whole Foods today, mostly because I was picking up an Amazon package. I really didn't need to. I was just like, decided I'll use the locker, but I didn't even need to use, like, touch anything. Like I touched the door with my elbow to close it, but that was it. So it was not nearly as like much. Besides that, I mean, I'm gonna start cooking for Leah, which will be kind of nice because I like cooking for another person. When I was an intern over the summer, I would cook for my roommate, and I liked it a lot because it made me be creative. And that's what's going to be happening tomorrow and for the next for the rest of the summer probably. It builds up my repertoire while also like making sure we're both eating healthy. She had a pretty hectic day at work, but that's pretty normal. Besides that, I know I do a lot. I talked with my academic advisor. I also contacted one of my old employers to write a personal letter of recommendation, so that was great. I'll email a different professor tomorrow morning, just in case. Besides that, there hasn't been much. We did talk about possibly doing another Zoom call with my mom's side of the family because her father turns 90 on, not this Friday, but next Friday, which is insane. I feel really bad that we're not going to be able to really celebrate it properly. I mean, I still may go out for Mexican because the restaurants will be open. So go out and do that and get myself a frozen margarita because my mother's side is like, frozen margaritas is the thing. So I am at the Shadow Ball again. I've already put in some of the footage of a little bit of the walk. It's really pretty here. Something to get out of the city, especially because Minneapolis is kind of on fire. There have been riots because of the fact that Minneapolis police have not arrested the police officers who killed George Floyd. Like, there was very peaceful riots, I don't know, but then the police decided to put tear gas. Hell, most of the protesters looked to be performing, like, wearing masks and practicing social distancing, even while protesting, because they had a guy on, like, their knee on his neck for 8 minutes, and it's completely, like, I don't have many words, or any words really to describe it. I'm appalled. I am upset about my adoptive city. But yeah, the riots got out of hand yesterday evening, and the 3rd precinct is burning a bit. Hopefully they've gotten the fires under control, but this morning they were not. But I decided to go on a walk. I needed to go on a walk anyways, but I decided to go here and start doing my typical city just so I don't possibly get caught in, like, something bad. It's a little past midnight, but it's still, this is the check-in for Wednesday. So, it's a full state of emergency. I know I'm talking very softly, but it's just scary, kind of. Things are burning. The 3rd precinct building has just completely burned. The riots have truly turned into riots, and in my opinion, they're losing some of the effect. But it's just weird and hard, and I was annoyed at my sister's friend because she was posting stuff and justifying it, and I'm like, you know what, you're comparing it to the Boston Tea Party, and who knows, maybe in 20 years from now we will look back at this and compare it, because I mean the property damage is probably going to be about the same, because as somebody pointed out, the amount of tea they dropped was like worth millions of dollars. But I also wanted to look at her and I'm like, you're not in Minneapolis. Aaliyah was prepared to drive us to up north, like to our parents' place, because we didn't know what was going to happen. And the problem is, actually, most of these places that are being heavily affected are the disproportionately minority places, like they're minority area communities. Like the 94 is what's separating stuff, and that the section that has been been told you probably should evacuate is predominantly minority. And in St. Paul, where they've released tear gas, is a primarily East Asian, Southeast Asian area. But yeah, I just wanted to I want to tell her, like, you know, we're here right now. And I feel guilty in some ways that I'm not protesting, but I'm also afraid. If the protests had occurred in broad daylight, I would probably go out and join. But protests at night, when all this is going down, it's scary. That's honestly it. And I don't know what else to say. Aaliyah needed to watch everything and listen to the freaking police scanner, and I'm like, I can't do that. I will stay awake in case of things, in case we need to get out, but having the police scanner is just gonna make, in my head, make things work. Maybe it'll make things better for her. I know with one of my sisters, who's in New Orleans, at least when she had been through Iniki and then when she went through Katrina, she had to watch out the window. It was a coping mechanism. But I don't understand. So I think for right now, the exercise stuff is kind of going out the window a bit. Like, I'm not going to be able to meet the 10,000 steps a day because, well, the riots are still going on. Minneapolis and St. Paul are currently on a curfew that we need to be back by 8 p.m. and we're not allowed to leave until 6 a.m. We're starting tonight, going until Sunday morning, which is just, it's crazy and weird. Sophia and I stayed here. Maggie is at her aunt's place, which is probably for the best because she was living by herself, and the place she was living in is not a university housing place. Aaliyah left this morning with her boyfriend to go up north to where her folks live, which honestly was the best thing because she struggled at night, and I don't think I could handle her doing the rest of this. So it's just Sophia and I. We're acting like this is a complete natural disaster. It's just scary. We're having to be the adults here. I've had to grow up more in the past 3 months than I ever did before. Besides that, nothing is ever happening. I didn't like the apartment today. I did work on my personal statements more and had my sister edit it. I just need to apply the edits and then I can turn in my application. Also need to ask my folks about possibly providing a personal loan, but I don't know. It's weird and scary, but it's not as much. The riots are surreal, and I've been doing stuff. I donated to the Minneapolis Freedom Fund because people are being protesters that are peacefully protesting are being arrested, and so donating for a bond for that. And then also there were some other things that I was looking into to try to help, even though I'm afraid to go out. I want to help. I've been signing the petitions, which I know maybe isn't doing much, but it's something. The first cop was arrested, the one that was sadly on George Floyd's neck, the one that really was the one to suffocate him. He got arrested for and is in custody for third-degree homicide and manslaughter. I wish it was worse, because he could probably be allowed on bail, parole, and I think the general consensus is they want him to rot in jail, and I'm kind of there with them. I'm with them with everybody else. So this man did like much premeditated murder. There's known connections between the two of them, and he did everything against the book, and he deserves to spend the rest of his life rotting in jail, as well as the other officers. It's a weird time. It's a very weird time. 2 states of emergency. That's something I'm never gonna forget. I'm truly gonna, So, there was still more property damage last night. At this point, it's been pointed out that a lot of the groups that are coming in and doing the just lighting fires and doing all these other things are not protesters. There are other outside groups who are taking advantage of this tumultuous time. And it turns out the police kind of aren't following proper protocol because their union leader is being like, don't. It's ridiculous. Besides that, we did have the interesting thing today. The launch actually happened, which was, I got chills watching it. That was a good thing today. That was a really good thing. Exciting to watch, although I will acknowledge I was flipping off the president and the vice president, because the president has been horrible during this whole situation. He's pretty much allowing people to shoot the protesters, not the actual people who are looting. And the looters are not typically part of the actual protest. Well, that's what I've been reading. It seems to be they're starting to clean up the 3rd precinct area, and I'll be probably joining. The information I've been getting has kind of been sporadic. I also finally turned in my first application. Got some disheartening news because my folks that their retirement is not looking as great because of this most recent turn. They're still doing well. They just can't support me like how they initially were thinking. Besides that, it's not been much. I did laugh when I was texting the person that's kind of been my grad school mentor. Texted him telling I'm applied to my first place, and he's like, oh, that's great. And then was like, wait, you're in Minneapolis, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm fine. It's just crazy here. Very, very crazy. And Dinkytown is completely boarded up. There's only a few places that are open. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do to help.